Now let's bring in Republican presidential candidate Carly Fiorina. She joins us from Iowa. Good morning, Mrs. Fiorina. I want to start off with Paul Ryan. He was a congressional staffer elected to the House at age 28. Is he too much of a Washington insider to change so-called business as usual in Washington?
Well, we'll see. But I think everything you heard Paul Ryan say is that he intends to lead the Republican caucus to providing solutions. And I think that's what people want. You know, when I'm out here on the campaign trail, people want to see results. Leadership is about producing results. It's not about talking. It's about producing results. And so one of the things that I would encourage Congress to do is pass the zero-based budgeting bill that has been languishing in Congress for too long, pass the REINS Act, which gives Congress the authority, the accountability to oversee every new regulation that has an impact of greater than $100 million, and pass a border security bill so that we can finally secure our border. Those are things that would be producing results. The American people would see it, and I think it would advance the ball tremendously.
Let's talk about the CNBC debates. Are you sending someone to the meetings here in Washington this evening, and do you think there should be changes?
Well, actually, I don't have campaign staff going to that meeting. I have campaign staff here in Iowa with me, and logistically, we just couldn't work it through. The RNC obviously made a decision to exclude NBC from subsequent debates. I think that was the appropriate decision. There has to be consequence when the debate process is abused in the way that CNBC did it. This is a debate series for Republican primary voters, and when you don't have a single conservative moderator, when the moderation earns boos from the audience, I mean, I've never seen that before, where an audience booed the moderation, and I hope it was a signal, quite honestly, to the liberal media that they need to be more deliberate, more balanced, and more respectful
on your own
Republican
debate
primary
performance.
voters and their candidates.
Let's talk about your own debate performance. Do you go back and do you look at the tapes, and did you accomplish what you wanted to accomplish in that debate?
Well, actually, I don't go back and look at tapes, and yes, I accomplished what I wanted to. You know, I remain the most unknown, or the least well-known is a better way of saying it, candidate on the field. In the August 6th debate, I wasn't even on the stage. In the September debate, I had to fight my way onto the stage. And in the October debate, I was right in the middle of the stage. And so part of my objective in those debates is to introduce myself to the American people who don't yet know me, to tell them a little bit about who I am and what I've done, and also, most importantly, to talk about why I think we need a different kind of leadership now. Because the truth is, so much of what ails this nation have been festering problems that have existed under Republican as well as Democrat presidents.
Mrs. Fiorina, I want to talk about one thing you said in the debate that's come under a good degree of criticism, something fact checkers say was cherry-picked and misleading. You said that 92% of the jobs lost during Barack Obama's first term belonged to women. The fact checkers say a big problem with the 2012 with the claim is that it was cherry-picked, the starting date for assessing it, and in fact that according to these government data, more women actually were working at the end of Obama's first term compared with the day he first took office.
Well, in this particular case, the fact checkers are correct. The 92%, it turns out, was the first 3.5 years of Barack Obama's term, and in the final 6 months of his term, things improved. But this is what the liberal media always does. It attacks the messenger, trying to avoid the message. Here is the message. It is factually true that women have been hit very hard by progressive policies. It is factually true that the number of women living in extreme poverty is at the highest rate in recorded history. It is factually true that 16.1% of women live below the poverty line, the highest level in 20 years. It is factually true that 3 million women have fallen into poverty.
Mrs. Fiorina, one of the things you just said that there was improvement.
Have been bad for women.
Mrs. Fiorina, you just said there was some improvement. You acknowledged there was some improvement, but you didn't say that during the debate, did you?
Martha, I've just acknowledged that I misspoke on that particular fact, that 3.5 years, 92% represented the progress in 3.5 years, and that in the last 6 months of Barack Obama's first term, things got better for women. You have not acknowledged the facts that I just laid out. 3 million women are living in poverty. The number of women living in extreme poverty is the highest on record. 16.1% of women live in poverty, the highest level in 20 years.
We'll let you speak for yourself with
cherry pick their own facts.
I didn't launch into any facts, Mrs. Fiorina. I want to very quickly, please, very quickly talk about just quickly Syria and the president's plan to send 50 special operations forces in there. Do you agree with that?
Well, I do, but I think it's a bit too little too late. Look, all of us who know anything about it have known that you cannot have a successful bombing campaign unless you have special operations troops on the ground helping to direct that campaign. President Obama hasn't been willing to do that for political purposes. It's also true that he has no strategy in Syria. He has no strategy for ISIS. And it's also true that when the United States of America fails to act as he has failed to act, our options are diminished.
Okay, Mrs. Fiorina, I'm going to have to stop you there. We're going to get together again, I'm sure, and talk about your strategy in Syria. We really appreciate you being with us today.